Slave DiBiase.
All right, okay, so on and so forth. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. Whatever time y'all are digesting this content, it's your boy Slave DiBiase. I am back with another one, y'all. This is another good sesh here at the Offenders Initiative podcast. On my stoneheads, on my real offenders, thank y'all for pulling up. You could be anywhere in the world at 420 around this good time or whatever, but you're here with me. Now, I've had a pretty tough week. This is gonna be my first time getting a chance to kick back and unwind. You know what I'm saying? Salute. Hold on, what we got here? Salute. Jamie Lanier. Salute Jamie Lanier, y'all. She just had a channel hack not too long ago, and she was blessed enough to go ahead and get that situation rectified, and she got her channel back. So salute everybody. Don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe and follow to her for all your IRL content, you know what I'm saying, your gig work, and just all sorts of bubbly positiveness that she got going on. So salute to her. Now, today I actually got a new pack in. I got some shit in this blunt right now. Like as in I got some flavors in here. So hold on, I'm gonna tell y'all. So with this blunt, right? Like I go sprinkles, I go red blast, Italian ice, key lime pie, Coco Chanel, animal cookies, Yahemi, Shark Lotto. I have all that in this one blunt right here. And still smoking, but we smoking good over here. And of course, it's rolled in a camo leaf. I went naked with it, you know what I'm saying? These are way better than tobacco and all of that. I'm not into that, but yeah, this is good. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you're smoking on in the comments, man. And we're going to get started here. Yo, y'all see the caption, right? The Copenhagen Test breakdown. Wonder Man, was it fire or trash? The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 2, and some MCU news. We're going to get into all of that. But first, without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, share, and like, and let's get into this. Hold up. The Copenhagen Test breakdown. All right, this right here, this series starring the guy who played as Shang-Chi, Simi Liu. Yeah. It's kind of a action, suspense, James Bond type situation. I'm going to just let y'all check it out, man. Hold on.
And targeted by multiple factors.
We break down the Copenhagen Test, explaining its meaning, core idea, and the deeper implications behind it. Whether it's a psychological concept, narrative device, or thought experiment, this analysis explores what the test represents and why it matters. The first episode of the Copenhagen Test begins with American soldiers on a rescue mission in Belarus, where soldier Hale is forced to abandon a hostage, an American woman, to save a Belarusian boy, highlighting a difficult ethical choice. Back in Washington, a secret intelligence monitoring team called the Orphanage is established, comprising an upstairs mission control and a downstairs analyst team, with only a few individuals aware of its existence. 3 years later, Hale works as an analyst at the orphanage and seeks a promotion, but his interview is complicated by a past panic attack and his first-generation American Asian heritage.
Oh yeah, they weren't scared at all to lean into the fact that he's Asian and he's trying to get up in the boss's front room. They leaned all the way into that,
which a colleague suggests might hinder his advancement. Hale experiences unexplained migraines and growing paranoia, noticing his ex-fiancé and friends acting strangely, and later learns that the Tachyon program is being shut down due to a compromised intel chain and a potential mole within the orphanage. As Hale is identified as...
All right. A potential mole within the orphanage. The orphanage is this secret group or whatever of people who handle shit that needs to be handled without having our fingerprints on it. Y'all know what I mean? But they think that there's a mole in there. That's the key. Remember that.
the only analyst who handled all 3 compromised cases in North Korea, he requests a device check, which reveals he is being watched and potentially under investigation, triggering memories of the Belarus mission and another panic attack. Hale discovers he was part of a failed biohacking project, with his eyes and ears turned into spyware, and is interrogated by Marlowe, who reveals he has a Wi-Fi signal streaming from his head, making him an unwitting mole for the enemy. Presented with a choice by Moira to either let the hack remain open under her control or escape and abandon his career, Hale chooses to leave the hack open.
Okay. We heard what Hale chose. Now just stop and imagine this with me. You have had your eyes and your ears hacked. The enemy can see and hear everything that you hear through your own eyes and ears. Initially, they've hacked your brain. What would y'all do? What would y'all do if you found out that your actual brain was hacked? Somebody could see what you see. All your privacy gone. Man, this was crazy. First episode, because they told my man he committed treason. Imagine being in one of them little rooms and somebody tell you a whole traitor to your country. You're gonna be like, man, what the hell?
Agreeing to follow Moira's instructions while the enemy continues to monitor him in real time, setting the stage for future espionage and loyalty tests.
Episode 2 of the Copenhagen.
Okay. We're gonna stop it right there. We're gonna stop it right there with this one. Hold on, there's somewhere else I wanted to take y'all right quick. Because my thing is I could tell y'all what would happen, but it would spoil everything. There's so many twists and turns in this show. It's a really, really good show. All the acting's really good. It's a slow burner though, but it has action within it. Go and check it out. The cast is crazy fire. I'm trying to tell y'all. I can't even really show y'all the rest of it because it's gonna spoil everything, you know. But the Copenhagen Test, I give this series a 5 out of 5. I was locked in for every episode. Definitely will do it again. I will say this much. The implications for season 2, and you can watch this on Peacock. The implications for season 2 are crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. The implications for season 2 are crazy. The only reason why I don't go any further with this one, because y'all didn't know I was watching this show. Every other show I review, y'all do know. I'm suggesting you do this one. You watch this one. Get back to me in the comments and tell me if you were liking this, the Copenhagen Test. The Copenhagen Test, y'all. Okay, moving right along. Wonder Man. The Wonder Man series. Disney just dropped the Wonder Man series. How many people out there actually took a look at that? I honestly thought it was going to be bad. I initially was like, I wasn't feeling it. And I will say this much, because of the pace of the show and what's going on in the show, if it would have dropped week by week, episodically like that, probably would have lost me. I'm not gonna lie to you. You probably would have lost me. But for the fact of it being binge watchable, that's how you know I'm cooked. A fact that being binge watchable, it draws you in because you want to know more about everybody's characters and exactly who Simon actually is. Simon Williams. He's the main character of the Wonder Man series, played by Yahya Mateen. So I will say this. I actually liked that show a whole lot more than I thought I would. Right now, we're going to get into new rock stars. Yes, salute the new rock stars. We're going to get into new rock stars and we're going to check out what they had to say on the Wonder Man series and the implications that, well, I have a theory of my own, the implications that probably are going to stem from this show. So hold on, y'all.
top-selling items, grab a hoodie, a tee, a hat, one of your favorite things from your favorite shows. Go be a rock star out in the wild. We also have a Trevor Slattery shirt, and we have a Doom shirt. Oh, don't you want to get some Trevor Slattery merch? After the show, maybe you don't.
All
Reach
right,
out.
man.
I still love him. We all know that he's not really supposed to be a terrorist. Get Trevor Slattery merch, get Doom merch. You're gonna love it. All right, now let's get into it. Just as a warning, this video will spoil the entirety of Wonder Man if you haven't finished it yet. You have been warned. The full breakdown of the series will be released on Wednesday on our channel. For those who want a rundown of exactly what Simon Williams is, who he is, all the things about the comics, what we know already, I recommend watching Eric's video, which is already out on the channel. I'll cover a bit of it here, but it's more dense over there. We open the final episode with California by Phantom Planet, and let me tell you, nothing gets me more gassed up than this stupid song. After
I love Jessica Clemens, y'all.
Following the reveal of Trevor being an informant for the DODC, Cleary, who we saw in Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel, takes Trevor down in this collateral damage, seen as though.
Okay, so basically Wonder Man finds out, well, Simon Williams finds out that Trevor Slattery was really hanging around him the entire time to set him up, which causes him to go into like an emotional distress, which causes his ionic powers to form to the point where he kind of went off like a mini atom bomb and he blew up the entire movie set of the movie they were supposed to be shooting at. And to get his friend to not get taken in by the Department of Damage Control, Trevor Slattery came out as the Mandarin again and took the blame for what Simon did with his mutant, as I said that word, his mutant powers.
Trevor and Cleary had a deal, no prison time for Simon Williams. Throughout the finale, before coming to the conclusion Simon must break Trevor out of the DODC, he's constantly reminded by his old memories of his father, or even by getting the original Wonder Man glasses, that he's always been human, and he's worked hard to get to this point, but he must accept both sides of himself to really fully get it. He has to be the heroic Wonder Man and the real Simon Williams. Ultimately, he learns to take responsibility for both good and bad in his actions, and if this isn't human, I don't know what is. Now, in this new role, he focuses on Chuck Eastman's life. What I think is particularly very cute and interesting here is that he took the notes that Trevor gave him for Kathy Friedman's interview. He listens to people now. He asks questions about their lives. After successfully...
When you watch this show, right, you know, for it to be a Marvel show, the first thing you're thinking is, well, who's the enemy? Where's the, you know what I'm saying? Where's the bad guy? Where's the fighting? This isn't that type of show if that's what y'all are looking for. I liked Wonder Man, but again, it's a slow burner, and if they would have dropped it episodically every week, you would have lost everyone. This show is great, binge watchable, because it keeps you drawn in because you're trying to find out exactly how powerful Simon is and what Simon might be and where he got his powers from. All this origin and this secrecy and this backstory and all of this leading up to all these moments, it keeps you drawn in. You just got to sit back and give it a chance.
Sneaking into the DODC, it's revealed that the DODC forensics team found out that this wasn't a normal explosion. It didn't match any known chemical signatures, and that all the objects of the scene were attached at a molecular level. So that means the building, the props, everything there, you name it, for a moment was completely linked together, kind of like glue. So this has become an energy manipulation that could potentially reach an atomic scale. And once that's revealed, Simon reaches Trevor and they use his powers. His eyes light up and he blasts away with Trevor to God only knows where, into the sky. So let's really get...
He can fly. Just the brother can fly. Black Superman in the MCU. I don't care what y'all say.
Get into it. Let's talk about his powers and what they mean in the MCU. In his origin story, we mostly see him flying out of the building perfectly. Everything else is still a bit of stumbling and unpolished when it comes to his powers. The series is presented under the Marvel Spotlight umbrella, which essentially means it focuses on ground level, character-driven origin stories without the broader ripples of the MCU. So far, only Echo and Wonder Man have been part of this line. And as a result of that, many of Wonder Man's biggest powers, I presume, will likely be showcased more.
Next Marvel Spotlight we're going to get will probably be the Punisher.
Fully in future Marvel television cameos or the wider MCU. In the comics, Wonder Man was introduced in Avengers issue number 9 in 1964, the son of a wealthy industrialist. He had a brother, Eric Williams, who eventually becomes the Grim Reaper, though in this series, he's portrayed as a regular old guy. Simon's story really pops off once he starts working for Baron.
I'm not going to lie. His brother was a hater in this goddamn movie, in this damn TV show, bro. His brother was a stone cold hater. Like, it be your own people, man, I swear.
Zemo, who puts Simon through an experiment that gives him ionic energy. He's extremely strong with indestructible skin. He's got all the works. His powers evolve over the years. He no longer uses a jetpack. He's able to just fly now. He gains the ability to change his size or appearance, and briefly the ability to empower others. We get into a lot of who Simon Williams is with Eric's Wonder Man homework video, which again, I cannot recommend enough because Wonder Man has such a roller coaster of an origin story in the comics that eventually leads us to like a brainwaved version of Vision and Wanda falling in love with Vision Wonder Man. There's a lot to it. But as for powers, Cleary is
with him showing up. Could we possibly see the return of the Scarlet Witch? And could this lead directly into Vision Quest? Could we see a cameo from Wonder Man on Vision Quest?
right. He is ultimately very dangerous, and he's strong enough to take on the Hulk and Sentry and Thor in the comics. Other big energy manipulators in the MCU are people like Wanda. This isn't like Franklin Richards because that baby can manipulate reality. Energy people still need reality. Reality manipulators could basically do whatever the hell they want. We don't learn exactly when Simon's powers began, but it's clear that he had them through adolescence. At the beginning of episode 3, we learn that he was in the room where the fire started as a teen. Eric thinks he did it on purpose, yet it's suggested he may have unconsciously just triggered
his kitchen caught on fire as a teen, as in powers that manifest when you hit puberty. Yeah, X gene. Let's go. Another mutant in the MCU. Let's go.
His powers and blown up the stove, causing a fire. Yet a doctor observes that there's no smoke inhalation in his lungs, and the areas of his shirt that are scorched by the fire show no injuries. Later in the episode, Simon tells Trevor that his family was the only one who had seen this side of him capable of crushing the kitchen island. That incident with the stove as a teenager could have been his first manifestation of his powers, potentially during puberty, a common time for powers to emerge in mutants. Such powers often appear in dangerous or uncontrollable ways, like Cyclops, who had to keep his eyes closed, or just look at everything Rogue had to do at the beginning. In the comics, Simon's powers are given to him by Zemo. Great, but in the MCU, it's kind of unclear. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe he's a mutant. In episode 3, we see photos of Simon that aren't sad. So he wasn't sad all the time, maybe just through puberty. And maybe through that puberty, he realized his emotions were tied to or at least strongly affected by his powers. He may have had to learn to suppress them naturally or hide them behind something else, like acting. I'm only offering this as a theory because, as we know, we're moving into the mutant saga within the MCU, and it seems like the DODC is already looking for superpowered individuals to target. As Eric mentions in his Wonder Man video, could the MCU be setting up the DODC to become the government agency responsible for hunting mutants in the future mutant saga? So that brings us to the DODC of this all. We're under the impression, although Simon is a danger to those around him,
y'all hear that? These are the people, that department are the people who are going to be locking up mutants in the future after the Secret Wars. When they start the mutant saga, these will be the people that will be trying to imprison known mutants. It's going to be fun because we're going to see the guy, the agent that was on this show. We're going to see him again. And we're going to see Simon Williams again as well.
DODC is meant to protect their country from supernatural threats, which, yeah, sure, they're not the greatest at doing it in the MCU. They had a woman racially profiling people in Ms. Marvel, but she's gone now. I digress. A deeper motivation is revealed in episode 3 when the deputy secretary explains that the DODC prison is half empty and the Congressional Budget Office is pressuring them.
We have everything we need to do this.
That is the prison where they're going to try and lock mutants and all sorts of supernatural people that are seen dangerous to the DODC. That right there. And we still don't have a location for it either, by the way.
Essential job for our nation. There's just one problem. Do you know what the problem is? Our prison is half empty. Half empty.
To avoid budget cuts, they need to justify the facility's existence by filling it, or else they might be saying bye-bye to this extremely expensive prison. Keep in mind, the last time we were at the DODC, Jen successfully pulled out Abomination. She also successfully got out of the DODC prison. They also lost the clandestines and Ms. Marvel, and the DODC received a lot of backlash over the incident at the very end. So I ask again, how else are you going to keep people looking busy, lock them up, and do it justifiably? You need a cause, you need a fear, you need mutants. Alas, again, this is just a theory how the DODC could further business within the MCU.
Come on now.
By the end, we see Cleary describing how dangerous Simon is, but also how valuable of an asset he could be.
If he's capable of harnessing ionic energy, then Simon Williams is an extraordinary threat. or asset.
That suggests that a possible future where Simon might assist the DODC, though that seems kind of unlikely in my opinion. Still, with the world heading towards a major doomsday, that assistance could just mean forming a team with other Californian superheroes to help protect the world. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. You know that backlog of emotional weight you keep telling yourself you'll deal with later? It's still there, adding background static to your life. When you reread a text,
I gotta fast forward this. I don't get paid for that.
DC and Simon and Trevor as still very hostile, at least until the DODC finds a reason to use Simon again. Trevor, on the other hand, is still, to the public, a terrorist who blew up the Wonder Man set and sent his confession tape to all the news outlets with a symbol of the 10 rings all up in that video.
That explosion on the set of Hollywood's latest
With the symbol of the 10 rings all in the video. Hold up.
that explosion on the set of Hollywood's
Symbol of the 10 rings all up in that.
Nah. So y'all know that this is going to tie back to Shang-Chi and his sister who's taking over the 10 rings. Oh, Trevor Slattery might end up dead in the next couple of movies if we see him. I'm not sure.
That video.
That explosion on the set of Hollywood's latest brainwashing superhero opiate, Wonder Man. I did that.
As a reminder, Trevor Slattery first appeared in the MCU in Iron Man 3 as an actor hired by Killian to pose as the fake Mandarin and terrorize the public. Tony Stark ultimately put an end to Killian's operation, killing him in the process. We later then see Trevor in the Marvel one-shot All Hail the King, where he was in prison alongside Justin Hammer. There he was kidnapped by someone posing as a journalist who was secretly working for the real 10 Rings organization.
Right.
Trevor next returned in Shang-Chi in The Legend of the 10 Rings, where he was being held by Wen Wu, but he also had become best friends with Morris, the faceless creature that kind of looks like a butt. Serving largely as the comic relief, Trevor doesn't necessarily help the group reach Ta Lo, but he does survive the final battle and chooses to stay there afterwards. But seeing him now in the present day, assuming his role as the Mandarin again, this would probably raise alarms for Shang-Chi and his sister, who is currently the new leader of the 10 Rings organization. Seeing as he's using the 10 ring symbol again, all up in that video. So for Shang-Chi, Wonder Man, where does this kind of connect? Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi and The Legend of the 10 Rings, also co-created Wonder Man with Andrew Guest. Keep in mind, this series was in development in 2022, while Shang-Chi was released in 2021.
This is setting up the West Coast Avengers. They got the same director that did Shang-Chi, also did this show. This is definitely setting up the West Coast Avengers. Possibly another team that could show up in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. I like it.
Basically made it feel like the idea of Wonder Man was conceived during Shang-Chi. According to Brad Winderbaum, during Shang-Chi, Destin Daniel Cretton and Jonathan Schwartz talked to Ben Kingsley about wanting to continue his story as Trevor Slattery. At the same time, Brian Gay and Stephen Broussard were tossing around the ideas about a Simon Williams project. And both ideas sort of poked at an actor's journey, but also being a creative. And the ideas eventually merged and they ended up with the Trevor and Simon story. Marvel Television is also great for its grounded level superhero vigilante storylines, but also because it can create a better shared universe in the MCU, in my opinion. I'm not saying that as a dig, just the fact that they've mentioned wanting to keep the two a little separated because it makes for cleaner justifications, less hope.
Nah, everything needs to connect. Yo, Marvel, listen to us. Everything needs to connect. Everything needs to connect.
Homework and fewer conflicts of interest. But Destin does have a track record of bringing Ben Kingsley's Trevor Slattery into his projects, a character who tends to pop up in unexpected cameos. Now attached to Spider-Man 4, there's no evidence that Trevor appears there, but Destin has already helped carry John Barenthal's Punisher from Marvel Television into the new Spider-Man film. With him involved, it's also possible we could see Wonder Man showing up in Shang-Chi 2, seeing as though Trevor Slattery's past hasn't outrun him yet. We saw how the goons in episode 5 came back for their piece, and I'm sure Shang-Chi's sister will as well, seeing as he's using the 10 rings again as a prop. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep bringing Trevor Slattery in. I love Ben Kingsley's Trevor Slattery. Put him in any project, but I feel like with Destin, it's perfect. It's great.
Agreed. Trevor Slattery, he was fire. He's one of the goated made-up characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't care what nobody say.
Great. Just put them in the next Shang-Chi. So we know where they're going to appear next. But as for right now, where are they going? The citizens of the MCU and Wonder Man and Daredevil Born Again are very aware of what's happening. And I love that. I appreciate that. They question the people around them. We don't know where Simon or Trevor went exactly, but there's nowhere on Earth where they won't know Simon for Wonder Man or Trevor Slattery as the terrorist. I think that's why the show ends with Harry Nilsson's Everybody's Talking. It's a song about wanting to escape into isolation, to keep moving, to leave everything behind, to tune out the noise of the world. But for these two, Faye makes that impossible. impossible now. So does being wanted criminals. And so let's keep in mind that they're still in California, technically. So there's a lot of superheroes within California that could venture into their story. And a lot of this will happen in the MCU in California. Let's not forget that. We all remember.
Hold on. That's one thing I'm not getting. Are we so sure that they saw Simon Williams break Trevor out? They don't know what they saw.
That Roxxon Corporation was a significant presence in LA during Iron Man and has since appeared in other Marvel projects, even this one in a very, very specific way. Kevin Bacon was also kidnapped from his home in Los Angeles in December of 2025 by the Guardians.
He was. I remember that.
Katie living in San Francisco. We're talking about the Pims, the Langs, even smaller folks like Jimmy Woo, who was the FBI agent in the California division. We also saw Jimmy last in Quantumania eating lunch with Scott. So
that's the whole West Coast Avengers right there. They got a lineup. We could see this small team show up in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars.
Assume he's back in California after the events of Westview. Bruno, who studies now abroad in California, and Kamala, who is visiting during Daredevil Born Again. She-Hulk and Abomination are also there. There's a lot of folks to come across in California. If they're on the run, I also think there's an argument that could be made that Trevor could return to Tal Lo if he knows how to navigate.
Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, can fly. Just get, you know what I'm saying? I just want y'all to know that, you know what I'm saying? Black Superman with Wanda powers, kind of. Come on now.
The moving forest without Morris, but that might be a fun adventure just seeing them return with Wonder Man and go into hiding. As for the remaining questions, a lot of them are things we just kind of have to wait for. Some folks have debated whether Vision will find a connection to Wonder Man as he does in the comics, which feels kind of unlikely, seeing as though Wonder Man went in a narratively different direction than all the.
Never say never. They could find a way to tie all of this in. They could find a way to tie all this in.
The other Marvel television shows. It was more focused on the friendship between Trevor and Simon. It was kind of similar to Agatha and Wiccan, but not really. Him making a cameo in Vision Quest isn't unheard of. I don't think that's crazy to see, but using the brainwaves to kind of mold White Vision feels unlikely. They narratively just have different stories in mind. Another question is whether Wonder Man was affected by the blip, and Simon makes many different claims about being alive over the last 8 years and actively working on something. 8 years ago would put him in line with the snap if the show takes place in 2026. Regardless, though, everyone, including his family, feels unaffected by those past parameters of the snap. I just don't think that's the type of show that Wonder Man is to get into the nitty-gritty of like where it is, time, and all these other things.
Nah, this was you were strictly focused on seeing Homeboy get the part in the movie, but you were also drawn in by what kind of powers does he have? What is he? Where did he get them from? Is he a mutant? If he's a mutant, is his brother a mutant? Like, you know, these are questions you might have.
It's for everyone, not just the MCU superfans per se. They wanted to create something isolated, an origin story that doesn't ripple the MCU, but doesn't focus solely on it either. Which is why we don't see a lot of cameos beyond celebrities playing themselves. There's no hints of Wanda. There's no hints of anything. It's just small little Easter.
By the way, the Doorman episode, hilarious. I just want to let y'all know that.
Will we see Wonder Man in Doomsday? I think not. Since the series falls under the Marvel Spotlight banner, the focus has really been on telling a contained, character-driven story through Marvel television.
Matter of fact, the Doorman episode kind of remind me of, I don't know if y'all folks out there ever watched that show, Atlanta. When Atlanta take a break from the regular cast and then go tell a whole nother story about a whole nother group of people. That episode was kind of like that. And it was fire. Shout out to the Doorman episode.
Spotlight projects feel a little bit like testing the waters, if you will, giving newer characters room to develop while gauging audiences' responses before moving them into larger film storylines. With Marvel's shift toward being more selective and focusing on its bigger established players, large ensemble films like Doomsday already have a lot of moving parts creatively and logistically. It's not just about the cost, but also about the story balance and making sure each character has space to matter. Introducing Wonder Man into an Avengers level movie right now might be exciting, especially with Yaya. I love it. I love him, but it could.
Hey, his costume was kind of fire too. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That costume was kind of fire.
Into an Avengers level movie right now might be exciting, especially with Yaya. I love it. I love him, but it could risk rushing the character before he's had time to fully breathe and grow with the audience. Letting him develop more first could make a future crossover appearance land even stronger and harder. I just want to see him get there.
This could be the setup for another. Because honestly, I don't think you see the quality of these movies being made from the first Avengers to the last Avengers movies, right? they could have a team up of all the Marvel spotlight people in one show and then make that a big giant show, which would damn near be a movie.
Overall, I really liked the show. On a second watch, I appreciated it even more. It's surprisingly very, very emotional, and as someone working in Hollywood, it hit a little too close to home, sometimes uncomfortably so, but that kind of reflection can be important sometimes. I'll always be rooting for Trevor Slattery. I will always root for Simon Williams. Their relationship growing beyond their craft into a genuine, unexpected bromance was not on my bingo card at all. It felt like a student-teacher dynamic, but not the usual like life or death MCU way that we've been getting. It was smaller. It was more
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I thought when Trevor wore that wire to his mama birthday party, I thought that was super duper wrong, but he made up for it because he threw the wire out. He already knew what he did was wrong. So he snapped the little cord, he threw it down the corridor, never to be heard from anybody again. But yeah, he got put in a tough position. But in the end, he turned out to be a true friend. It was fire. It was kind of fire. But this dude is like an atomic bomb. If he get mad enough, he could like put a hole in the earth, like on some Sokovia shit.
personal, more relatable, and at times very, very frustrating in a very human way. The performances were strong across the board, and this show actually made me want more Marvel stories that lean into character and emotion over pure spectacle. Did I always love Simon though? No, he got on my nerves more than once in this show, but watching the messy stop and go evolution of like adult friendship and flawed humans between them, it was just very compelling. Comment down below with your
Hey, if I was locked up and I took one for the team, you know what I'm saying? I would hope my mutant homeboy would come and break me out of jail. That was a breakdown of the Wonder Man series from New Rockstars. Please give them a like, comment, and subscribe, man. If y'all watched it out there, tell me how y'all felt about it. Tell me what was your favorite episode. We're going to move right along. How many of y'all watched that good old Game of Thrones? Episode 2, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Did anybody check that one out? It's a slow burner. I'm not going to lie to y'all, man. I'm going to give it about one more episode, and then I might be done with it. I just don't, it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not cooking. It's too slow of a burn, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not cooking grits around here. We need for some heads to be chopped off, man. Like, the only thing that y'all done is have my man shitting on the side of the road and then had the old man out there with his, hanging out. We don't want to see that, man. Y'all better give us something better, man. Come on, Game of Thrones. I'm going to give y'all about one more episode. For real, for real. I'm not even lying to you. We're going to react to Think's story on this one, y'all. Don't forget to give them a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into
Epic jousting, huge lances, and
Wait.
bratty teens you wish were wed to drop.
Bullshit. You just saw that, right? Not cool. Not cool. Not cool, man. I hate it. This is what you've given us instead of some actual action. And man, come on, man. Game of Thrones, y'all got one more episode for me, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Joffrey,
You're talking to a king!
the latest episode of A Night of the
Nothing like that. Nothing like that has happened yet. They don't even have a Game of Thrones thing. They ain't even got that thing going on. That's how, you know what? I know this on some bullshit because they didn't even got the regular music. Ain't even got the regular music.
Seven Kingdoms has just dropped harder than a high tower in the jousting ring.
I want revenge.
If you're new to my videos, this is a deep dive into the episode, the book, and connections to Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. There will be no book spoilers beyond this episode, however, we will be using clues from the show to theorize certain key plot points. And one final note, I write, edit, and produce these videos all by myself, and it would mean the world to me if you like, commented, and subscribed to help with the YouTube algorithm. Now let's get into it. And wouldn't you know, my mom walked in as soon as this scene was playing. This is Sir Arland of Pennytree. However, I'm convinced he's related.
So y'all want to give us this nut-ass freak shit instead of actually giving us regular Game of Thrones shit. I mean, like, y'all, you know what? They be towing that motherfucking line, ain't it? They be towing that line, ain't it? They'll be like, oh, okay. So that was freaky, right? All right, the next Game of Thrones, we gonna show y'all something freakier. Oh, okay, nobody said nothing yet? Okay, the next show, we gonna show y'all something freakier. Man, man, we don't want to see that freak shit, man. Come on, bro. Y'all trying to base the show off that shit now. And it's too slow of a burner for you to be putting that weird shit in there.
To Hodor.
No, that's a big man.
In the book, Sir Arlen's death is attributed to rains that soaked him to the bone. However, the show implies something a little more grievous, this long gash along his wrist that may have led to infection. We'll see Arlen and Dunk eat hard salt beef under the limited protection of an elm tree. Not only is hard salt beef the title of the episode, but an item in the novel Dunk offers Egg after a hard day's work. The elm tree is emblematic of Dunk himself, strong, sturdy, and resolute. Last episode, he told Egg that he has no need of a pavilion. An elm tree is all the protection a true knight needs.
He only said that because he's a hedge knight. If he was used to being in the castle, he would be that. Because other than that, you just a bum with a shield. It's not cool.
It's so important to him that he has Tansel painted as part of his new sigil. This idea of what makes a true knight is passed on through the legacy of Sir Arlen. Although Arlen had his vices of drink and women, Dunk says he was a good man who lived a humble life, benefiting those around him. It's kind of funny that as he says this, he watches as his master pays a man for the whore he had last night. What makes a...
Hey. He paid for it. Stay out that man business. Sir Duncan the Tall. Shit. Sir Duncan the motherfucking nosy. Stay out that man business.
True knight will be a common theme throughout A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and Sir Arlen, although not famous or rich by any means, will become the mold by which Dunk shapes what a true knight should be. By looking at Sir Arlen's body, we can see the multiple scars from battles past. Dunk says Arlen was a veteran of 100 wars, but enemy to none. We actually saw a brief flashback of Arlen when he fought alongside Sir Manfred Dondarrion's father in his fight against the Vulture King. And even though Arlen had all these hardships, he never complained. In fact, he seems rather jolly, singing a tune picked directly from the book.
Up to last fit to see if they're made.
He was doing all this singing while bleeding out on the side. Nah, bruh.
This is kind of funny considering later in the episode we'll see this fair maid, Gwyn Ashford, for which the tournament was created to celebrate her 13th name day, and she's anything but fair.
You're making stupid.
That was an overreaction.
I don't like the way he breaking this down. It's too slow for you, boy. Hold up. We're going to do something a little better. Hold up. You're not even cooking for real. You're not even cooking, like, you know? That's better.
Here. The title of the episode is Hard Salt Beef, which is a reference to a line from
Everything
the book
awesome,
The Hedge
y'all.
Knight that this is all based on. During the actual episode, a couple times you see Dunk eating hard salt beef, first in the flashbacks with Sir Arlen getting ready to sleep under the tree in the rain, and then at the end of the episode at their campsite when he's wondering if the life of a hedge knight is a good life, sleeping beside the side of the road as he then literally eats a piece of hard salt beef. The line hard salt beef is spoken by Prince Maekar, who we see arrive at the tournament along with the procession of the Targaryen family. We'll talk about them in a second. Maekar is having a conversation with Dunk after the Trial of Seven, so like after the big WTF event has gone down. He says to Dunk, "Did the trial addle your wits, man? Aegon..."
We haven't gotten there yet. So they're trying to slow cook all the way to this. I don't know, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to give it about one more episode, and then I'm kind of cool on it.
Is a prince of the realm, the blood of the dragon. Princes are not made for sleeping in ditches and eating hard salt beef. He saw Dunk hesitate. "What is it you're afraid to tell me? Say what you will, sir." Dunk then replies to him, "Daron never slept in a ditch, I'll wager." Daron the drunken, who we saw in episode 1 with the dragon dream. "In all the beef that Arion ever ate was thick and rare and bloody, like is not."
What is the talk about this beef shit? Pause. Hold up. That's starting to make me not even want to review this shit no more, man.
Maekar, who does have the traditional silver Targaryen hair, which makes him look quite a bit older. Also, the fact that he's so grumpy during the episode. He's got 4 sons, but not all of the sons are here. And some of the sons who are already married have some of their wives here at the tournament as well, too. So it is a big contingent from the Targaryen family in general. Maegar's sons are Daeron the Drunken, who we did see in episode 1 at the end, the one that has dragon dreams and told Dunk about his future.
Why in every Game of Thrones there's somebody drunk ass son who can't stay out of fucking trouble? That's literally every show.
Without Dunk really realizing it. Aerion Targaryen, who Dunk also runs afoul of. His next son is a big Easter egg because it's Maester Aemon from the original Game of Thrones show. That's right. That's how old Maester Aemon is during that Game of Thrones show. He just continues living up at the wall.
Okay.
My father was Micah. My brother Egan reigned after him.
The reason why Aemon isn't here at the tournament is because he's off studying to be a maester at the Citadel. Maybe we'll see him in a future season eventually. There was a really big Easter egg for Night of the Seven Kingdoms during the original show too, because not only does he talk about his family, he also talks about his younger brother Egg on his deathbed. The egg that he spoke of is the egg that we see during this series, who is squired to Dunk. Baelor is called Baelor Breakspear because he defeated Daemon.
Okay, so basically they're releasing these different series like the same way that Welcome to Derry is going to release their series. They're going to go back. They're going to keep going back and back and back and back in time and telling all these stories leading up to the original Game of Thrones. So that means we got a spinoff coming from somewhere.
And Blackfyre the First from the Blackfyre Rebellion. He started the Blackfyre Rebellion back when Baelor was 17 years old, breaking his lance during a jousting match at his aunt Daenerys Targaryen's wedding. Obviously, it sounds familiar because Daenerys Targaryen from the original series. Many people in the Targaryen family reused names of all the more famous Targaryens. So it's just like naming someone after the most popular people in your family. This is also why there are so many Aegons that pop up over the timeline. The actual episode starts with another not safe for work scene on brand for the Dumper at the beginning of episode 1, where you get the full Monty of Sir Arlen, and it's another flashback that they use for comedy, ironically, with Dunk talking him up in present day to all the different lords of the great houses, trying to get them to vouch for him and remember Sir Arlen, while he's basically hyping him up to these crazy standards, which they revealed the truth of in the flashbacks, that Sir Arlen was just as fallible as any other regular knight, which Dunk...
Meaning he wasn't shit. He was a regular knight that. Ooh, bless me. All right. He was just saying that maybe all those stories that your master told you aren't all real. So now Dunk got to stop living off the legend of his knight there and actually forge one of his own. I like that part, but nah, it's still a slow burn. I ain't liking that.
Then admits to Egg at the end of the episode, like he wasn't this great knight like I've been talking about to all these other lords. He was just another guy, and he wasn't always that nice, but he did raise me to be a good person, an honorable person, and he treated me like family. When he looks at the different bands around his wound, they're both practical to help actually close the wound because he wants the wound to heal, but also the strands are reminders of his previous battles in fights because he was in a ton of battles across his lifetime and he was wounded often during tournaments. We get another simplified title this time like we did in episode 1, no special intro like House of the Dragon or the original Game of Thrones series, and this is meant to be somewhere in the reach as they're departing down the road, heading to what seems like Ashford, the tourney at Ashford, and this is meant to be just before his actual death. Throughout the flashbacks too, you also see him slowly losing steam, like you can actually see his body begin to give up.
That's what I'm saying. Like he got stabbed in the side, he bleeding out over there, he got that big giant gash under there. Like I thought a couple of times while he was riding that horse, he was just gonna fall off of it.
And he's singing the same song throughout all the different flashbacks through different parts of their journey. It's just a song about being horny. Tries to get Dunk to sing with him. Then you see them sleeping beside the road under the tree in the cold rain as they eat the hard salt beef, playing into the whole theme of the episode, the title of the episode. They get some training. Notice that Dunk is using the Warhammer, which feels like a Robert Baratheon Warhammer comp. Robert used a Warhammer, and this episode has a lot of those House Baratheon rebellion references, especially with Lionel Baratheon. Much later in the timeline, like long after the events of the actual series, he has his own minor rebellion with the crown over a broken engagement that was Jenny of Oldstones, the famous Jenny of Oldstones that's referenced during the...
Now they're going way into the future and all that. See that shit?
original Game of Thrones series. It turns into this big play and a big song that people sing later, but originally is that a Targaryen prince that was engaged to Lionel Baratheon's daughter broke the engagement because he was in love with Jenny of Oldstones, and that led to Lionel Baratheon getting really pissed off, but it didn't turn into like a big full-scale war like Robert's Rebellion did later in the timeline.
Will you heed my call?
But there are a couple Robert's Rebellion comps later in the episode.
He had my man come play tug of war with him. He knew that was cheating. He lead a tug of war line. He go take a piss, get some beer, and then come back and help.
Episode with the whole rope pull, like, will you join my war, Hedge Knight, is basically leaning to that. Lionel Baratheon also has a lot of fun in this episode. He and Dunk also become very good friends eventually. As they continue through the flashbacks, you see Sir Arlen singing and having to stop, like he's having trouble singing because his body is literally like he's slumping over, like he is literally about to die. We go back to the tournament and learn about some of the houses that Dunk is going to try and get to vouch for him and remember Sir Arlen. First it's House Florent, then House Hayford. When he says Sir Arlen fought side by side with their brothers at Redgrass, that's a big Blackfire Rebellion Easter egg. We get a couple of them in this episode, but this one is for the Battle of Redgrass Field. And his squire at the time was his nephew, Sir Arlen Squire, who died at that battle, because a lot of people died at that battle. Then he speaks with Longhorn Tyrell, who's one of the most powerful lords here at the tournament next to Lionel Baratheon, because we are in the Reach. Ashford is in.
By the way, nobody was showing my man any love. Nobody was showing Dunk any sort of love this episode. They really was on some, you a Hedge Knight and you stink. We not trying to help you out at all, fool. It wasn't until the right person said, go ahead and let him in the games.
The Reach. And all of them turn him away.
Yep.
Egg calling Sir Arlen a shit knight also feels like a callback to Dunk taking a dump at the beginning of episode 1 under the tree, too. Then notice that the Targaryens ride in and they start heralding them. Egg.
See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's the highlights of this show, man. They better pick it up this weekend or I'm done with it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Bails immediately, like, you know what, maybe I should take off right now just in case anybody recognizes me. When Dunk threatens him not to rob him, that's also a line from the book. There are many, many lines that are taken directly from the book in this episode, as there were in episode 1. It'll probably be like that for the entire series, too. It's the most book-accurate series that they've done so far, even more book-accurate than the original early seasons of Game of Thrones. HBO even released a promo where they did this comp of putting the scene of them speaking the dialogue directly from the book with pages from the book. I don't think they've ever actually released a promo like this before because they've never been quite this book accurate before. It kind of feels...
Oh, this is book accurate, so, okay. Yeah, spoiler. You know, we in spoiler country, Jack. Don't act like you don't know where you at.
It's like they treat their arrival here the same way the announcer treated Robert Baratheon in his royal procession arriving at Winterfell during Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 1. Calling out all of their very formal titles takes a long time to actually read them all off. Notice that the announcer also had to remind himself to announce Maekar too, like he almost forgot about it, like, oh yeah, you too, you're a prince. Okay, we'll name you too. The reason for this is currently the realm doesn't think that much of Maekar because he's so far down in the line of succession. Their eyes are mostly on Baelor, who everybody thinks will be a great king. Like, not everybody loves him, but most of the realm thinks that he's great, and he seems level-headed, which is rare for Targaryens. So basically, he's like the most important person in the realm next to the actual king. That's why everybody's so focused on him. They're not really paying too much attention to the other members of the royal family that much. Lord Ashford introduces her.
Nah, my man right there, he was a whole asshole to Sir Duncan, man. He wasn't showing that fool no love. His homeboy, his brother was like, yeah, I'm going to let you in the games, man. We ain't got to do all that. And I think he was being a hater the whole time.
Much attention to the other members of the royal family that much. Lord Ashford introduces her daughter Gwyn to him. I believe the reason for the tournament itself, the tourney at Ashford, is her name day, just in celebration of that. In the books, this is actually funny, George R. Martin never gave her a name, his daughter, so I wouldn't be surprised if he helped them name her for the show. Like, George will help them with extra little bits of material when they need little bits of lore to add in. That's kind of a long-running joke in A Song of Ice and Fire and all the other spin-off novels they've done, like Fire and Blood, as well as the Tales of Dunk and Egg, is that George R. Martin oftentimes won't always name all the lesser female characters. He'll just...
That's not funny.
Just say girl or woman.
Nah.
Then because most...
Nah. He ain't just say that. Nah, that's wild, bruh.
of the Targaryens have arrived. Dunk runs afoul of Aerion Targaryen at the stables. He's basically the antagonist for season 1. He's only a casual dick to him, like he's not that bad, but notice that Dunk does ultimately help with his horse after he kicks the actual stable boy. They use this as an opportunity for him to meet the Kingsguard too. Roland Crackhall and Donald Duskendale. They're not the only members of the Kingsguard, but they're just 2 of the Kingsguard here. You also notice that they're wearing their traditional white armor from the books. In the books, Kingsguard usually wear white, but for some reason on the original Game of Thrones show, they made it gold, maybe because they felt like they couldn't pull the white off for some reason on a practical level. So it is really, really cool to see them finally do the actual white armor.
It's not often he must look up to cast his eyes down.
They make a joke about his height, and then he bonds with Donald over being a low-born person who was able to join the Kingsguard, but they then later also use this for another joke at Dunk's expense at the end of the episode, because
yeah, I'm telling you, nobody shows Sir Duncan any love, bruh. I actually hope he do win these games so that he can, you know what I'm saying, be solidified, because they playing with his name for real.
Dunk here thinks that Donald was a low-born person who was able to eventually join the Kingsguard, and when he tells him the way he did it was the same way that his family became crabbers, Dunk thinks that means, oh, you were just able to do it with hard work, meaning that anybody could become a member of the Kingsguard if they work hard enough. But later in the episode, they use it as a joke at his expense when Egg tells him, no, the reason why he's on the Kingsguard is because his family owns half the crabbing fleet in Westeros. He's a rich boy. He basically...
Has he not picked up that Egg is probably some sort of royalty? He knows way too much.
Earned his way through money. Dunk then tries to sneak into Lord Ashford's hall. Notice how he has to stoop over because he's so tall and the hallways are so small. They make a couple of jokes about his height in the episode too. He hears Maekar and Baelor complaining about Maekar's missing sons. When he says they may have been delayed, he's talking about Daeron the Drunken, his oldest, who we saw at the inn previously during episode 1, and Aegon, his youngest son. And even though we did see Daeron alive, the reason why he's not here yet is because Daeron...
They're drunk. Look at it. It's always somebody drunk ass son in one of these goddamn series, man, who can't get it together. He's supposed to be leading some shit, but he too busy being the fuck.
Daeron woke up from being drunk and then went looking for Aegon. So the 2 of them are still missing off in the wind, as far as we know. Don't want to talk too much about that because there'll be a couple big reveals in next week's episode, probably. But the whole idea here is that Maekar is just pissed off because they can't find them. They both reference that their father, Daeron II, made...
And all he is down the street at a whorehouse. They're talking about they can't find him. He's at a whorehouse.
them all come to the tournament. Baelor says that Daeron has done this before, Daeron the Drunken, Maekar's son, and Maekar should not have made him enter the tournament, which is the whole reason why Daeron and Aegon were here. Aegon was supposed to serve as Daeron's squire, and Daeron didn't really want to actually fight in the tournament. Baelor also says that Daeron has done this before a couple times. The reason why Daeron is probably so drunken all the time, why he's earned that name dubiously, is probably because he's trying to dull the dragon dreams. You can't turn off dragon dreams. Like, he has the same dragon dreams that Helena has, so he's...
All of these is going through their bloodline. Everybody's passing down that dragon dream, that tale of fire and ice. It's a prophecy for real.
Just like Helena, basically. He probably views them as nightmares, so they're probably slowly driving him crazy, which would explain why he tries to spend all of his time being drunk, so that it just dulls the pain. Dunk then speaks with Lord Ashford's daughter, Gwyn, who references wars, princes being dead, like maybe the princes are missing because they're dead, but that's all misdirection. But then there's this weird vibe between them where it seems like she was coming on to him a little, but then gets mad at him when he doesn't seem into her, and she...
Yeah, that was weird. Like, you're a little girl. Get your ass on somewhere.
Runs off, making fun of him. Like she did that because she was into him, but sensed that he was not into her. Baelor mentions Aerys and Rhaegal, who are their other brothers, Daeron's other sons, who are both described in the books as being very meek compared to Baelor and Maekar. The two of them fought valiantly in the Blackfire Rebellion, Baelor and Maekar, so they're viewed more as warriors by comparison. Maekar catches Dunk, who pleads his case that no one remembers Sir Arlen, but Baelor does because he remembers everybody that he faced in tournaments, as well as his enemies too. Sir Arlen wasn't an enemy, but he did fight him in a tournament, and mentions facing him at Storm's End. The tournament was to celebrate the birth of Lord Baratheon's grandson.
With the way he went out, it almost makes you feel like maybe Sir Arlen was a big-ass liar, bro. I'm telling you, because everybody like, man, we don't know him. That's what all those other knights were saying at the games. And we don't know him. What are you talking about?
Would have been Lionel Baratheon. Dunk also quotes another joke about him from the books: as thick as a castle wall, Dunk the Lunk, thick as a castle wall. They also use Baelor's example from his match with Sir Arlen that he didn't ransom back his horse and armor to him, because that's a big thing in Westeros. If you beat someone in a tournament, you can ransom back their armor and earn a bunch of money from them, and if they can't pay for it, you just get to keep it. So it makes losing at tournaments very expensive and winning actually very lucrative. But they use this as an example to show how Baelor was a good person.
So Baelor, you know what I'm saying, he was the OG who went ahead and let Duncan get in the games.
Is a good person, also because he remembers Sir Arlen unlike all the other lords. Basically the idea that there is a good Targaryen out there, and he just happens to be the most powerful person in the realm next to the actual king. Love that right after this, Dunk puts his foot in his mouth again, making Maekar hate him even more for even suggesting that his missing sons might be missing because they're dead. Maekar not liking Dunk.
You don't know. See, that's one thing I told you. Watch what you're saying. Think about where you're saying it at, and think about who you're saying it to. I pray that your sons are not unalive. What? I pray that your sons are not dead. Why would you say that to that man? He don't even know you. Why would you even speak on? Crazy.
Dunk will wind up biting him in the butt pretty soon.
Right. He looked at him like, what?
Baelor then reminds Dunk that he needs to get a new coat of arms because by law he can't use Sir Arlen's because he's not his natural-born son, which is a thing in Westeros. Goes to see another one of Tanzel's plays. This one is about Florian the Fool, who's another famous play from Westerosi history. He was a knight from the Age of Heroes who fell in love with a woman named Yonquil, who he spotted at a fair. And in the episode, they're using this as a metaphor for Dunk, the fool, falling in love with Tanzel, the knight who was also a fool. But the other cool Easter egg here in connection...
Now she gonna get him messed up, man. He got to succeed now, man. You got to do that before you do that. Y'all know what I'm saying.
To Dunk is that Florian's status as a knight was doubted because the whole tradition of knighthood didn't come to Westeros till after the Andal invasion, long after Florian would have been dead. So the idea is that he probably wasn't an actual knight, and during this series, there's a lot of doubt about Dunk actually being a knight. Right after this, Tanzel also quotes the line from the play back to him: all men are fools and knights when women are concerned. And the reason he pays her coin is payment for her play, like you would pay to see a movie. Dunk then asked her...
He asked her to paint him a new coat of arms. Now he coming into his own. Now he got to get his own colors and all of that. This is going to bring about his whole family, which is going to lead to Brienne of Tarth.
To paint his new crest over the shield, and gets Egg and her to actually help him figure it out. The elm tree that they just slept under next to their campsite, the falling star that they saw in episode 1, the colors of sunset because Sir Arlen loved sunsets, and boom, that's it. That is Dunk's crest. She explains her nickname, Tanzel Too Tall, when he says she's not too tall, she's just right for ... That's also a line from the book. It's just a joke about them slowly having chemistry together and her becoming his love interest.
Nah, she's just right for what? He threw his little shot in there. I ain't mad at you. Nah, you just right for... Never mind.
Couple jokes right after this where Dunk tries to talk to Egg about having no game. Like, how did you think that went? How did that go? Totally love the two of them together. Like, they work really well as an actual pair. Lionel Baratheon gets their help with the rope pull. They also use this to show you how much stronger Dunk is, which is one of his few advantages, that he is just really big and really strong. That night he meets Steely Pate, who is also from the books, who reforges Sir Arlen's smaller armor to fit him after he gets more coin, which requires him, sadly, to sell one of Sir Arlen's beloved horses to get the rest of the money. Sweet.
Yeah, he did it in the show. It was messed up.
So pour one out for Sweetfoot. He does swear to come back and buy her again if he gets the money someday. Really love the way that Dunk actually treats the horses on the show. It's sort of like Jon Snow in Ghost, but with horses. Then when Dunk talks to Egg about winning at Ashford and maybe the Targaryens will take him into their service, they use Donald's Kingsguard example as a way to throw water on that. Like, Dunk is really dejected after this. Then they enjoyed the actual opening ceremonies with the opening joust. Some of the major contestants right out in their gear: House Baratheon, House Tyrell. This is Valar Targaryen, Baelor's oldest son. And they use this 5-on-5 to foreshadow the Trial of 7, which is 7-on-7. Cannot say enough about the jousting scene here. Like, this is just a taste. This is much better jousting scenes than they've ever done on House of the Dragon, especially during season 1.
I don't know. It's still a slow burner to me, y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna give it another shot on Sunday. I'm gonna try again. If it don't pick up in the right way, I think I'm off it.
And of course, better than the original Game of Thrones series. They said a lot of the jousting matches during this, and George R. R. Martin, when he was writing the book and writing the jousting matches, was inspired by the Ivanhoe movie back in the day. But as the match starts going down, Dunk starts having an anxiety attack, wondering if he's going to be able to actually win. Later that night, we get another real big Blackfire Rebellion Easter egg from Egg, who's play acting a battle as if it is the Blackfire Rebellion, and the Blackfire Pretenders were just something that their side were called during the actual war. You have to remember the Blackfire Rebellion just went down recently in Westerosi history. It wasn't that long ago, which is why so many people are still talking about it now. Then they have the conversation about the life as a hedge knight eating hard salt beef, sleeping by the side of the road, and Dunk basically stealing himself. Like, even though he admits to the truth of Sir Arlen, he wasn't great, he never won anything, but he did try to raise me right to be an honorable person, and I'm going to show everybody what I'm made of tomorrow, like what this all means. Basically, him resolving to do a good job and win tomorrow. As he eats a piece of hard salt beef, bookending the episode.
Salute. What do y'all think, man? Did y'all like that? Y'all been keeping up with it? Y'all been keeping up with A Night in the Seven Kingdoms? Like I said, I'm gonna give it one more weekend, one more episode. If it don't pick up, I don't know what else to tell you. I ain't fucking with it. But let's see what else we got here. We got some MCU news. I need y'all to listen to what I'm saying. This is by way of Cosmic Wonder. Hold on. Y'all still smoking out there, man, because I'm almost done. We almost done.
Avengers Doomsday leak that gives us a fresh new look at Doctor Doom, as well as pretty much the rest of the cast of Avengers Doomsday, at least the cast that Marvel has officially announced so far. And
oh yeah, y'all need to take a look at this.
It looks like this leak actually confirms that another really big leak was true. We live in the time of AI where we don't really know. And so when a lot of photos got released before, a lot of people thought, well, these look really awesome, but they could be AI. But this seems to confirm that they were indeed real, which of course we will go over in this video. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today. As you can see here, this is the leaked photo that has been going around online today. It seems to be obviously a comic coming up for Avengers Doomsday. This could be either a prelude comic or simply giving us some backstory about some characters, because there's a lot of characters in this and some we haven't seen for a pretty long time now. But if you take a look, and we're going to go over each of these characters, but if you take a look at the very bottom, we can see Dr. Doom. Now, he does look like...
Okay, look at Doom. Doom looks crazy scary down there. I wonder, are they going to give him glowing eyes when he's using his powers and all that kind of stuff? Or is he just going to be behind the shroud without you being able to tell who he is for a long time? Oh, man, this is about to be good.
The concept art that we have seen from him that does officially come from Marvel Studios. Here you get a better look at his mask, and it's really interesting because it actually does look...
Look at that. Man, that's menacing. With the two runes on his chest. Could Robert Downey Jr. end up being the greatest Marvel Cinematic Universe villain of all time after this with his performance? Do you think he could pull off a Thanos performance from Josh Brolin?
Like, almost like it's making a facial expression, right? It looks a little bit different than the one that we saw before, but the suit overall looks pretty much the same. And as you can see, he even has the emblems on his chest still. One on the left is the Captain Marvel star. The one on the right is Thor's hammer. His armor looks pretty much the same. We can see a little bit more detail on his arms, but that's pretty much just chain armor once again. It kind of looks medieval. And we have seen that the leaked concept art for Avengers Secret Wars, where it's pretty much in a medieval time. But this is for Doomsday, not Secret Wars yet. I do find it interesting that to his left immediately is Sue and Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen that concept art, like I said, and in Secret Wars where he sits on his throne.
Not my man gonna rewrite the universe and just take your woman from you, Mr. Fantastic. You gonna let that slide? Take your woman and your child from you. They mine now. Give them here.
Sue and Franklin are on his side. Now, Doctor Strange is on the other side, but he is not in this photo. In fact, it only seems like the people who are in this comic on the cover are the people who were announced in that chair event. I haven't spotted anybody else that hasn't been announced. For example, Steve Rogers, we know he's in the movie, but was not announced during that chair event. He's not in this. So I think it's literally just those people who were announced in the chair event. And we're going to go over all of these people, but I do want to take a look at Alexei Shostakov first, the Red Guardian, because if you take a look there, if you zoom in right to his chest, you can see it's actually the new Avengers with a Z logo on his chest. He has sort of a new uniform here. And actually, if you bring it back to, again, like I said, these old leaked photos that we got, it looks exactly like them. If you can take a look here, you have plenty of shots of Red Guardian here, and he has that new Avengers with the Z logo on his chest. And
with the
the
Z
looks
logo
exactly the same.
is crazy.
So,
Avengers with a Z logo is crazy. My man went and branded himself for real.
I think these leaks that we saw before were pretty real, especially if you consider that some of the other photos that we've seen on here, like for example, how Mystique looks, how the Fantastic Four look, how Doctor Doom look, it appears that they're all real. The biggest thing for me is actually the Fantastic Four all seem to be wearing jackets. And if you take a look at the comic here, the new leak, they're all wearing jackets. Except for the Thing, because he doesn't get one because he's the Thing, sadly. But Johnny's wearing a jacket, Sue's wearing a jacket, and Reed is wearing a jacket. And actually, what's really interesting about this is Reed's jacket is white. The others aren't white. The others are kind of this
Yo, Mr. Fantastic gonna let you know who he Mr. Fantastic every time. Y'all jackets is blue, my jacket is white. I'm Michael, y'all motherfuckers Tito.
Fantastic Four blue. And that's exactly as they show up here in these previous leaked photos. And it does seem like at this point in time, these are real looking at them all now, because it just seems like, yeah, they're just getting shots of all the characters and their outfits. And I would normally say somehow they leaked, but I really think Marvel's leaking a lot of things on purpose here. I really do think Marvel's leaking things on purpose here. But as you can see, Johnny, his jacket is blue, and we did get the...
If they're leaking things on purpose, it's because they're testing the waters to see the reactions of whether we like this stuff or not, so that they can have that cushion time enough to change it.
Look at Cyclops here, which ended up being completely accurate when we got that X-Men trailer, and Mystique's outfit looks exactly the same here as well. So I think this new leak confirms those leaks were real. And then of course that bag leak from one of the crew members from the set of Avengers Doomsday had how everybody looked on it as well, and they look just like this and just like those leaked concept art photos, or they're not even concept art photos. They're just photos that literally were taken on set of the costume. So this is really cool. We're getting a great look at characters. We're getting leaks confirmed to be real now. Let's go over who's in this. Now, from the top left, we're going to go from the top left to the right. We have Beast. It's kind of hard to make out, but I'm pretty sure that's M'Baku. Nightcrawler looks kind of not terrifying, but he looks like a little mischievous here. I do wonder...
Nightcrawler has hair like Prince. Get out of here, man.
The dynamic with some of the X-Men, like Mystique is a part of it. Are they all good? Are some bad? We've heard reports that Magneto actually does have his utopia. So perhaps all the mutants kind of get along together. And the fighting that we're going to see is really just between the X-Men and the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, and then Doctor Doom and his army. because we're hearing more and more lately that he has a following. This time we're hearing from the Hot Mic podcast, Jeff Snyder, that he has a following of witches with him. And when I hear that, I think Scarlet Witch.
A following of witches. That can't be nobody but the Scarlet Witch. A resurrected Scarlet Witch. A resurrected Agatha Harkness.
Again, we haven't heard anything specific about her. I just really want her to return. If not in Doomsday, definitely in Secret Wars. But hearing that he has witch followers from Jeff, and Jeff mentioned a few things about Doomsday that have already come true, that we've already been confirmed true. So seems like he has a really great source. So Doom's going to have a following, which we expected, but some of them are going to be witches. And I just, fingers crossed, one is the Scarlet Witch. So Nightcrawler, John Walker, above him, The Thing.
Maybe he has different variants of Wanda with him. That might be crazy.
Alexei Shostakov, Red Guardian. There we have him. Gambit, who I'm just super excited to see him return. And I'm really happy for Channing Tatum too, because he just really wanted to play Gambit, and now it's just it's coming true for him.
It's happening for him. It's happening for him. We like him as Gambit again.
We're going to go down now from right to left. We have Namor, Ant-Man, Cyclops, who we've already seen on screen now. He looks epic. The Winter Soldier. This is Joaquin Torres, or our new Falcon. Thor. This is Sentry, Shuri, Ghost, Loki, Shang-Chi, Magneto. I'm going to come back to him just a bit. Loki, our current Captain America, Mr. Fantastic, Professor Xavier, wearing the exact same thing that he wore in the trailer for the Avengers Doomsday X-Men 1. And then, like we've seen before, Sue Storm, Franklin Richards, Dr. Doom, Yelena Belova.
He really just took that man whole family, though. Nah, go back to that.
And like we've seen before,
he took that man whole family. Get out of here. I took your whole family. I'm about to rewrite all of reality and history. It's my family.
Storm, Franklin Richards, Dr. Doom, Yelena Belova, Johnny Storm. Now, I will say it's also interesting that Yelena is on the right of Doom, because in that leaked concept art, when he's sitting on the throne with Sue and Franklin to his side and Strange on his other side, Yelena was actually bringing somebody to him, and that person was on a chain, and she was holding the chain. So it seems like she works for him as well. So I'm wondering if this is very intentional here down at the bottom. The people right next to him work for him in Avengers Secret Wars. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I mean, if that concept art ends up just happening in the movie, we already know that's what's going to happen. I want to go back to Magneto because I love this helmet. I think it's really fantastic.
That helmet is fire. Yeah, that helmet is fire. Shout out Sam Wilson as well, man.
A lot of people were saying, well, Professor X has that, the military jacket on that it's already been confirmed he's going to wear because we've seen it on screen already. But Magneto didn't seem to be wearing a costume, or a comic accurate costume at least, but he was underneath it. It was purple. He was just wearing some type of, like cardigan or robe over it. But if we go to the leaked photos that we have been going over today, and it seems again, like these are confirmed real now. If we go over these and we take a look at Magneto here, as you can see, it looks like he's going to have a very comic accurate costume.
This looks pretty dope. This does look pretty dope for the old man.
And he's got, the long hair, which we've already seen, which is great. And the helmet here, it shows the helmet here. And I think they just really went all out with the costumes to make them the best that they possibly can. And I love how Magneto looks here, like really colorful, really red, really vibrant. And we go to these other ones. It is kind of, I think, depending on how the light hits it, a reddish, maroon-ish. But the cape over it, I am totally here for.
Facts.
Totally here for that. So all of these look just fantastic. And again, I do think these confirm those other leaks were real, which shows us that the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige, and really, I think just everything for Avengers Doomsday is just, they're taking so much, they're putting so much thought and care into all of this that they're making sure everyone looks just perfect. Whether that's staying true to a very comic accurate look, like some of these are, or
that's a fact. Give these folks what they want. Give them a little what they want, but modernize it. That's all you got to do.
Giving them kind of a fresh look that looks really good. Like the Fantastic Four with the jackets, I dig it. I think they look really, really cool. Red Guardian with his new Avengers logo on it with a Z. And I do think it's kind of funny that Red Guardian is the only one who has one on, right? Because he was all about that. That's what we saw in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. He was all about it. So it makes sense that, you don't see like Yelena with a new Avengers logo on her really anywhere. You did see them kind of in the post-credit scene, but Alexi's got it right there on the front rather than like the shoulder or something. Like Red Guardian is proud to be a new Avenger with a Z, even if it's like, the knockoff Avengers. He is super proud. But I love this. I can't wait to see what this is about. Can't wait to see what they're going to tell us in this comic. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts about what this could possibly be.
Salute to Cosmic Wonder, man. Salute to Cosmic Wonder. That's all we got for today, folks. This was another good sesh, man. Salute to everybody that pulled up in the comments, man. Salute to everybody that pulled up, whether religiously or in passing. Thank y'all for joining me in the sesh. And tell me which was your favorite part today. We had the Copenhagen Test with the boy that plays Shang-Chi. You know what I'm saying? That's a mind twister. Go see that on Peacock. You know what I'm saying? You had the Wonder Man series. Was it fire? Was it trash? Fire. If you watch it all the way, not if it's dropped as an episode. The black man is the black Superman. You know what I'm saying? And A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's giving me a little trash vibes. And this MCU news, all it's got is giving me more and more reason to want to go see Avengers Doomsday coming this December. Y'all be easy, man. Good sesh. See y'all a little bit later. The Offenders Initiative Podcast, your boy Slave DiBiase. I'm out.